The heavy silence that gripped Buckingham Palace's grand drawing room was more than just the absence of sound, it was the weight of history. Each royal family member, gathered beneath the shimmering chandeliers, felt the intensity of the moment. Princess Anne, poised yet clearly burdened, stood in the center of the room, holding a sealed envelope. This was not just a letter, it was the final will of Queen Elizabeth II, a document that would irrevocably alter the course of the monarchy. Queen Elizabeth's death had left a profound void, one that could never be filled. Her reign had been an anchor for the British royal family, but with her passing, the monarchy now faced an uncertain future. Her final wishes, however, were more than a simple division of assets. They were a declaration, a blueprint for how the monarchy would evolve or perhaps fracture in the coming years. The stakes could not have been higher. As Anne carefully examined the seal, the room fell into an anticipatory stillness. Every family member understood the significance of what was about to unfold. Princess Anne, the Queen's only daughter, had always been known for her unshakable composure. Yet as she broke the seal of the envelope, there was a rare moment of vulnerability. Her hands trembled just slightly, betraying the emotional weight of the moment. Her mother's final words, the culmination of decades of leadership, would now be entrusted to her. It was a responsibility that would test Anne's fortitude and perhaps reveal the true depth of the family's unity or their lack thereof. A daughter's duty, unraveling the legacy. As Anne began reading, her voice remained steady, but even the most composed of royals could not fully mask the tension in the room. The Queen's will opened with a heartfelt message, one that resonated deeply with the royal family. The Queen spoke of her reign, the duty and responsibility she had borne for so many years, and the gratitude she felt toward her family for their unwavering support. But beneath the surface, there was an undeniable undercurrent of concern. The Queen's message was not just one of gratitude, it was a plea for unity, a final call for the royal family to stand together in the face of an ever-changing world. It is my deepest wish that you, my beloved family, continue to serve the crown with the same dedication that has marked my reign. The monarchy must evolve, as must we all. But I ask you, each of you, to remember the importance of unity in the face of inevitable change. Do not let the weight of our past tear apart what we have built. Our strength lies in our togetherness. As Anne read those words, the air in the room grew heavier. The Queen had seen firsthand the cracks that had begun to form in the royal family, cracks that, in recent years, had widened into chasms. The departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from royal duties had shaken the family, and the public tensions between Prince William and Prince Harry had not gone unnoticed. These fissures, though subtle, were always there, lurking beneath the surface of royal life. The Queen's final words were a reminder that the survival of the monarchy depended on unity. But was that unity still possible? Anne paused for a moment, her gaze sweeping over her family. It was a moment of profound silence. No one dared to speak. It was as if the entire royal family was holding its breath, awaiting what would come next. The message had been clear, the monarchy must adapt, but the question remained, could it? Shifting sands, a legacy of change. As the will progressed, the family's anxiety grew. The Queen's decisions were a delicate balance between honoring the past and embracing the future. Windsor Castle, the heart of the monarchy, would remain under the stewardship of the reigning monarch, King Charles. It was a decision that preserved the continuity of the royal legacy and reaffirmed the stability of the institution. But as Anne continued reading, the first signs of division began to emerge. The Queen had made a controversial decision regarding Balmoral, the royal retreat in Scotland. For decades, Balmoral had been a sanctuary for the Queen, a place where she could retreat from the pressures of public life and spend quiet moments with her family. The decision to share Balmoral's ownership among multiple heirs raised immediate concerns. The estate, once a symbol of royal unity, was now being divided. It was a bold move, one that would require the royal family to maintain delicate balance and cooperation, but could they? The tension in the room was palpable as Anne read the Queen's words. Balmoral will remain a place of family gathering, but it will be shared among several of you. I trust that each of you will honor the memories made there, even as the ownership of the estate is divided. Anne paused again, her eyes scanning the room. She could feel the weight of her mother's words. It was clear that this decision would have far-reaching consequences. The idea of sharing such a personal and historic property seemed fraught with complications. How would the royal family manage this new arrangement? And, more importantly, would it strain the already fragile bonds between them? The most shocking moment, however, came when Anne read aloud the fate of Sandringham. For generations, Sandringham had been the private estate of the reigning monarch. But in an unexpected move, Queen Elizabeth had bequeathed Sandringham to Princess Anne. The room seemed to freeze. King Charles, though maintaining a neutral expression, could not hide the subtle shift in his posture. Prince Andrew shifted uneasily in his seat, his discomfort palpable. Sandringham had long been seen as a symbol of royal continuity, and for Anne to receive it was a decision that raised eyebrows. The Queen's choice was deeply personal. It was well known that Anne had spent much of her time at Sandringham in quiet reflection, far from the public eye. Her connection to the estate was one of deep emotional resonance. And yet, by passing the estate to Anne, the Queen was sending a message that her daughter was not only a trusted confidant but someone capable of carrying the royal legacy forward in a new direction. It was a decision that would undoubtedly have long-lasting implications for the royal family's future dynamics. Jewels of power, symbols of a changing monarchy. The will moved on to the Queen's most treasured possessions, her jewels. These priceless heirlooms were not just adornments, they were symbols of the monarchy's enduring power and prestige. The Vladimir tiara, one of the Queen's most iconic pieces, was left to Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. This was no mere gift, it was a clear statement. Catherine, poised to become Queen Consort, was now being officially recognized as the future of the monarchy. The tiara, once worn by Russian empresses, was now a symbol of the monarchy's ability to adapt and evolve, even as it clung to its regal past. But it was not only Catherine who received a bequest. Princess Charlotte, the Queen's great-granddaughter, was also named as the recipient of several of the Queen's most treasured jewels. The passing down of these heirlooms ensured that the royal legacy would continue, even as the monarchy underwent its inevitable transformation. Yet perhaps the most surprising bequest came for Prince Harry. Despite the scandal surrounding his departure from royal duties, the Queen had left him a ceremonial sword once owned by King George VI. It was a gesture that spoke volumes, a reminder of Harry's military service and his continued connection to the family. It was a symbolic act of reconciliation, but whether it would be enough to mend the rift between Harry and the rest of the family remained uncertain. The road ahead, a new era for the royal family. As Anne reached the final words of the will, the atmosphere in the room was thick with tension. The royal family, so accustomed to maintaining an air of unity, now faced a future defined by change. The Queen's final wishes were more than just instructions on how to divide her possessions, they were a roadmap for the future of the monarchy. The power dynamics had shifted. Roles had been redefined. The Queen's legacy would endure, but it was clear that the monarchy was no longer the same institution it had been under her reign. Anne carefully folded the will, her expression unreadable. The room fell into an uneasy silence. Each royal family member sat lost in their own thoughts, grappling with the significance of the Queen's final words. Outside the palace, the public buzzed with speculation. What did these changes mean for the future of the monarchy? Would the royal family be able to adapt, or would these shifts lead to irreparable fractures? As the royal family sat in silence, it became clear that the true impact of the Queen's final wishes was only beginning to unfold. The future of the monarchy, once so certain, was now uncertain. The Queen had laid the groundwork for a new era, but whether that era would be one of unity or division remained to be seen. And as the world watched, one truth remained: the monarchy's story was far from over.